This is the Docker roadmap, every box on it in the order it puts them. The path starts with understanding what a container is and the Linux features underneath it. Next, you set it up. Docker on your machine and your first containers by hand. Then you use it. You run software other people published and you keep your own data. After that, you build. You write your own image and you send it to a registry. Now you run several containers together. You also learn the settings that keep them safe. These two stages are daily work, the commands you type and how containers talk to each other. The last two stages are professional habits, a fast local loop and a real platform. 14 stages, 31 subtopics, 2 prerequisites. We are going to answer every single one. 2 boxes sit beside stage 1. The roadmap calls them prerequisites. The first is Linux fundamentals, package managers, users and permissions, shell commands, and shell scripting. The second is web development, one programming language and a basic idea of application architecture. You do not need to be an expert. You need enough Linux to read the error messages. Step 1 of 14, the introduction. This is the very first box on the map. What it is. The idea itself before you type a single command, why it is here. Every stage after this one assumes you know why containers exist. A container is one process with its own files and libraries. It shares the kernel with everything else on the machine. Before containers, code worked on one machine and failed on the next. A container carries its dependencies, so behavior travels with it. Bare metal is one operating system on one machine. A virtual machine boots a whole guest system. A container just starts a process. Docker is one product. OCI is the written standard for images and runtimes, so other tools can run the same image. Step 2 of 14, the underlying technologies. The roadmap says a basic idea is enough here. What it is. The 3 Linux features that Docker is built from, why it is here. Once you see these 3, containers stop feeling like magic. I have a full video on this. A namespace gives the process its own view of one thing, its own process numbers, its own network, its own mount table. Control groups set the limits. Memory and processor become ordinary files, and the kernel enforces them without asking the container. A union file system stacks read-only layers into one view. Your writes land in a thin layer on top of them. Step 3 of 14, installation and setup. Now you install it properly. What it is. A working Docker on the machine in front of you, why it is here. From this point on, every stage is typed rather than read. Windows and Mac have no Linux kernel. Docker Desktop runs a small Linux virtual machine, and your containers live inside that. On Linux, the kernel is already there. You install the engine alone, and containers run as ordinary processes. Step 4 of 14, the basics of Docker. The roadmap gives this box no sub-boxes at all. What it is, the first hour of actually using it, why it is here. You need the 4 everyday verbs in your hands before anything else. Run needs an image and a command. It creates the container, starts it, and attaches your terminal unless you say otherwise. The list command shows only running containers. Add the all flag, and you also see the stopped ones. Stop sends a polite signal first. Your process gets 10 seconds to finish, and then it is killed. Remove deletes the container and its writable layer. The image stays on disk, so the next start is instant. Step 5 of 14, data persistence. This is the stop that saves your database. What it is, where your data lives when the container is gone, why it is here. A container is temporary and your database must not be. I made a whole video on this. Every container gets a thin writable layer. Delete the container and that layer goes too, including your database files. A volume is storage that Docker creates and owns. It outlives the container, and you never handle the host path. A bind mount points at a real folder on your machine. That suits source code, and it ties you to that machine. Step 6 of 14, using third-party images. You did not build these. What it is. Running software that other people built and published. Why it is here. You get a database in one command with nothing installed on your host. You run Postgres with one command and no installation. 2 projects can use 2 versions without any conflict. Some tools you need only once. Run the container, take the output, delete it, and your machine stays clean. Step 7 of 14, building container images. Now you make one yourself. What it is? Writing the recipe for an image of your own. Why it is here. Your application becomes something you can ship. I have a video just on image size. A Docker file is one instruction per line. Only from, run, copy and add create layers. The rest is metadata and costs nothing. Docker reuses a layer while nothing above it changed. Copy your dependency file before your source and installs stop repeating. Deleting a file in a later layer only hides it. The bytes still ship, so delete inside the same instruction. Step 8 of 14, container registries. Think of a warehouse for images. What it is. The warehouse your finished images live in. Why it is here. A registry is how the exact bytes you tested reach another machine. Docker Hub is the default, and anonymous pulls are limited. Log in or mirror the images your builds depend on. GitHub, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft each run one. The protocol is the same, so only the account and the rules change. A tag can point at different bytes tomorrow. A digest cannot. Deploy by digest and keep version tags for people. Step 9 of 14, running containers. One is easy and several is the real job. What it is. The two ways you start things and the settings around them. Why it is here. One container is a demo. A real application is several at once. I built 4 services in another video. Every option lives on the command line here. That is fine for one container and painful once you have 4. Compose writes the same options into one file. You commit that file, and anybody can start the whole set. You can cap memory and processor, pass variables, and choose a restart policy. Without a limit, one container starves the machine. Step 10 of 14, container security. The defaults are sensible, but they are not enough. What it is. The 2 places a container can be unsafe. Why it is here. Default settings are reasonable, but they are not a security review. Most of your image is other people's code. Scan the base, pin the versions, and rebuild when the base is patched. By default, the user inside is root. Create a user, drop the extra permissions, and mount the file system read only. Step 11 of 14. The Docker command line, 4 families of commands. What it is. 4 families of commands for 4 kinds of object. Why it is here. Everything you create has to be listed, inspected, and deleted. Build, pull, and tag are the daily 3. Prune matters too, because old layers quietly fill your disk. Logs shows you what happened. Exec puts you inside a running container. Inspect prints every setting it was given. Create and list are simple. The useful one is prune, which finds volumes that no container uses anymore. Create your own network first. On the default bridge, container names do not resolve at all. Step 12 of 14, networking. This box also has no sub-boxes on the source. What it is. How containers reach each other and how you reach them. Why it is here. Most early failures are a port or a name, not a bug in your code. The host port is written on the left. 8000 on the left sends host traffic to port 80 inside. On the default bridge, containers reach each other by address only. Names never resolve, and addresses change after a restart. Create a network, and Docker adds a small name server. Now one container reaches another by its name. Host mode shares the machine network and skips the mapping. None removes networking completely, which suits a batch job. Step 13 of 14, developer experience. This stop decides whether you keep going. What it is. Making the container pleasant to work in every day. Why it is here. If the loop is slow, you will quietly stop using containers locally. Mount your source folder into the container. Your editor saves, the process reloads, and you never rebuild the image. Publish the debugger port and attach from your editor. You step through the code where it actually runs. Run the suite inside the image you plan to ship. A test that passes on your laptop only proves your laptop. Build the image once on every push. Then test that exact image and promote the same bytes to production. Step 14 of 14, deploying containers. This is the last box on the map. What it is. Handing your containers to something that runs them for you. Why it is here. Compose runs one machine. Production usually means many. I have a whole Kubernetes series. Nomad schedules containers and plain programs together. It is smaller than Kubernetes and easier to hold in your head. Swarm ships inside Docker already. Your Compose file works almost unchanged, which makes it the shortest step up. Kubernetes is the standard and the biggest jump. It restarts, scales, and reschedules your containers while you sleep. A platform service runs all of it for you. You push an image, and somebody else owns the machines. The roadmap ends by pointing at two more roadmaps. The first is Kubernetes. It runs your containers across many machines, and it is the standard. The second is DevOps. That is the pipeline and the habits around everything you just learned. Finish stage 14 first. Then tell me which stage you are stuck on, and I will make that video.